And they light the torch and the big flame will come out on the after.
Call the meeting to order. We begin this meeting by acknowledging that we're on the land that has been inhabited by the Anishinaabe nations. We would like to acknowledge that this land on which we gather is a traditional territory of the Saginaw and Anishinaabe. We would like to give thanks for sharing this land. Whereas there is a quorum of council present at time of 6 p.m. to be resolved this regular meeting, the open business in the municipal council chambers and the minutes of the regular meeting of September the 14th, 2022 be approved. Can I move for a second?
Cheryl and Sharon.
Jim? All in favor? Carried. We shall now hold a public meeting pursuant to section 34 of the Planning Act to consider amendments to the zoning bylaw. Be it resolved that council meeting is now adjourned for the purpose of a public meeting. Over the second, please. Edie and Cheryl, all in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that pursuant to section 34 of the Planning Act, the public meeting is now officially open for the purpose of hearing comments regarding the proposed amendments to the zoning bylaw as follows. File number ZBA 22-05 for the property in Salter Township, parcels 15-237 and 17-503, part 1 and 2 on plan 53R 19404, broken front concession lot 20, located at 731 Route Road. Move on the seconder, please. Cheryl and Edie, all in favor? Carried. Advise as to the method by which the notice of the meeting was given and the dates that the notice were given.
This notice of public meeting was advertised in the Roundabout on September 6, 2022. It was also circulated to the various prescribed agencies and landowners within 120 meters.
Any persons wanting a further notice to the passage of the bylaw should give their name and address to the clerk prior to leaving the meeting. If there are any persons present who wish to make oral or written submissions on the proposed bylaw, please give your name and address to the clerk.
So this application is for property located at 731 River Road. The applicant is proposing to build a canine boarding facility on their residential property in the rural zone. The zoning bylaw permits a kennel in the rural zone if lot area and other setbacks are met. Subject property is approximately 1.6 hectares in size. The proposed kennel would be situated behind the primary dwelling and the accessory building to the rear of the property to avoid any disturbances to neighboring properties. Currently, the applicant would not be able to meet the established rear yard setback and lot area. The proposed facility would support 6 to 8 moderately sized kennels with indoor and outdoor areas for boarded canines. Before entering the facility, all canines will be required to have applicable vaccinations up to date. The new facility is able to meet the required setback of 30 meters on the front and side yards, but proposes to have an 18-meter setback from the rear property line. The distance from other existing residences is approximately 195 meters. Property use to the east and west of the subject property is vacant agricultural lands. Property to the north is also vacant and mostly wooded land. The amendment to allow for a reduced lot area as well as reduced rear yard setback in the rural zone is being put forth to provide boarding services to residents who cannot access these services due to the lack of availability within our township and especially in emergency situations. Official plan review of the rural area. Commercial uses. This section of our official plan supports commercial use in the rural zone in conjunction with residential uses. Kennels. This section permits for a commercially operated boarding facility in accordance with the zoning bylaw and applicable minimum separation distances established between a kennel, a dog run, and any adjacent land use which may be sensitive. Zoning section 5.18 of the rural zone lists kennels as a permitted use with a minimum lot area of 4 hectares and 92 meters frontage. Currently, a kennel requires a 30-meter setback for all yards. Bylaw 2013-36 relates to kennels, and we've attached the copy of that kennel licensing. So all kennels are regulated by this licensing bylaw, and it sets out the necessary requirements for size of individual areas. So the applicant submitted some aerial photos of the property, so you can see that there is no one adjacent in the immediate vicinity. And then the kennel would face out towards the bush. So there's nothing that I could not find anything that showed the requirement for outdoor area for dogs being kennelled. They're very specific to indoor, how much sleeping space and the water and how much ventilation that they're required, but nothing for outdoor run area. And the bylaw speaks to, I think, the cleaning up of waste, and it sets out all the requirements at that time. So it's there for council's consideration. And the applicants are in the audience if council has any questions.
Ms. Crosby or Zachary there, this spring you sent a letter to all the landowners there around, as I was in wondering, all my neighbors.
Yeah.
Was there anybody against this proposal that you're putting forward?
No, sir. We had one neighbor that owns the bushland behind us that came over for a cup of coffee and a conversation just to make sure that we weren't putting it on the road facing their house or anything. But once we had a discussion on where we wanted it and how we wanted it, and they were perfectly fine with everything. We had nothing but positive feedback from all the neighbors that got the letter.
Yes, because right now all the neighbors that I've talked to, they're all totally in favor of this.
Yeah, that's the consensus we're getting to. Yeah.
And it's not just people in this area, it's people out in the area too there, because there's only a few places that you can take your dog there. So.
Yeah, it's difficult to find a spot, for sure.
Any council got any concern?
Yeah, I like all of that. I like the letter. I read the letter. I'm concerned about the neighboring lots. If they haven't really heard about it, or if they're not really saying anything, lot number 780, 760, 740, and 730, they're right beside, right across from you on the road. We do have a bylaw about noise. I'm just going to read it here. Persistent barking, calling or whining, or other similar persistent noise by any domestic pet or any similar animal kept or used for any purpose other than agriculture. Prohibited time of day is at all times. I'm just worried that you might have 6 dogs and they're going to be barking and your neighbors are going to be annoyed. I would have liked to have seen a letter from these 4 neighbors, with a signature saying, yeah, we got the letter, we're in favor of it, and other than that, I'm in favor of it. That's my biggest concern, is the neighbors right beside you.
So I didn't realize that we were supposed to get letters from them. But
No, I'm not saying you did need to get a letter.
Oh, okay.
I just have that concern that.
Well, I can assure you that I don't like barking dogs as much as the next guy doesn't like barking dogs. If it doesn't work out the first time, they won't come back for a second visit. With the reason we positioned it where we did, facing the direction we did, was to take every precaution that we possibly could to make sure that we do not disturb the neighbors. The kennel will be well insulated and soundproofed. The doors will be shut at night to the outside. The kennel is facing the bush line. It's not facing the road line. They're not going to know cars are driving by. They're not going to see people walking down the road. They're not going to see horses going by with the carriages. They're not. The way we took all of that into consideration when we were trying to decide where to put it, how to face it. We're still in discussions on how we're going to insulate it, how we're going to soundproof it. We don't want to be a nuisance. We don't want to be a disturbance. We want to just live our lives and fit in with the neighbors just like everybody else. So we're not looking to ruffle any feathers. I mean, we don't want barking loud dogs at our house either.
Sure.
So we've taken into consideration and we've made all the adjustments that we can, and I think we've positioned it in a good spot. I don't know if you've seen the drawings, but.
I did see the drawing. I looked at it really hard. It's a good proposal. I'm a dog lover, and so we would like to see this fly. But I would like to see if we can contact our neighbors.
That's the public process
That's it,
it's
eh?
advertised. If there's no comments, then there's no comment.
Okay.
Well, and you're contacted by mail when there's a zoning change.
Yes, like I said, 120 meter
Neighboring
radius,
land.
they all, not only the
Yeah.
public consultation that they are required to do, but we also submit
Yeah.
circulate that to 120 meter radius of all those people that get it by
Yeah.
mail,
Yeah.
and then have their opportunity to question or
Yeah.
provide comments.
And
So
so
if there are
you-
no public comments, then we take that into consideration.
And they had their opportunities.
Yeah.
And 120 meters is not that far when it comes to barking animals. I tell you, when I lived in Azilda, a mile down the road was a kennel. It didn't bother me hearing the dogs bark, but I could hear them bark. And
These are the top results.
Okay. So anyways, that's my concern. If we've done the best we can, I think you guys have put in a good proposal. It looks really good. And so that's my concern.
Any other comment from any councillor?
No, I think it's a needed thing in our area. There's a huge lack of kenneling facilities, if there is any.
There's one in our municipality at the far
One.
east end.
Yeah, so
Way
I applaud you for taking it on. It's no small feat.
Yeah.
It's expensive. So I wish you the best of luck. I think you'll be packed. And I think it'll be quite a successful venture and hopefully maybe something that you can expand on. So I think it's great.
Zach, you anything else you want to say here? Yes.
I don't know if you want to say something about it, if I
Yeah,
come in.
No, I don't want to put you on the spot, but if there's anything else.
No, I think I covered everything. I mean, like I said, I understand where you're coming from. I mean, we're big time dog people, and we ourselves are not a big fan of listening to dogs bark at all hours of the night. And I mean, rest assured, every precaution will be taken to minimize the noise pollution. Obviously, I mean, dogs do bark. I mean, there's no way around that. But
We worked with the neighbor
yeah.
that owns the bush lot behind us,
Yeah.
and they even proposed for us to put the kennel in where we did in the drawing.
They helped us kind of, they told us where they would like it, and I kind of showed them why I wanted it where I did, and we kind of came up with an agreement, and we think that's the best spot for it. And I understand that the bylaw is for 10 acres and that, and I mean, we're not looking to put up $1 million corporation kennel that's gonna, break the bank or anything. We're looking for a small boarding facility that we can help ourselves and help the township and
Hey, you never know, it could
do
grow.
what we like.
It could grow. It could become a grooming facility. You never know.
Fair enough.
Oh, now you want them to groom.
I want them to groom it
Any other questions, anybody?
No, good luck.
Good
Yeah.
luck, yeah.
Okay, be it resolved, the public meeting is now officially closed and the council meeting is reconvened. Schumer and Seconder, Kevin and Timmer, all in favor? Carried. Whereas council is satisfied that notice were given in accordance with the Planning Act respecting zoning bylaw amendment file number 22-05 as applied for by Ms. Crosby and Zachary for the property in Salter Township parcels 15237 and 17503, part 1 and 2, on Plan 53R 19404, road front concession lot 20 located at 731 River Road. And whereas sufficient information is being made available at this public meeting for the public to understand generally the zoning proposal being considered, be it resolved that due consideration of the proposed bylaw has been given, and council hereby concludes this application shall be approved. Effect of the public submissions, none received. Can I move in a second there? Tim and Edie here, all in favor? Carried. Okay, be it resolved that bylaw 2022-37 being a bylaw to amend the comprehensive zoning bylaw for the property in Salter Township as it relates to the zoning bylaw amendment file number 22-05, be read first and second time. Move in the second, Kevin and Cheryl, all in favor?
Second.
Carried. Be it resolved that bylaw 2022-37 being a bylaw to amend the comprehensive zoning bylaw for the property in Salter Township as it relates to the zoning bylaw amendment file number 22-05, be read third and final time, passed open council. Move on the second, please. Edie there and Tim there, all in favor? Carried. Council wants to thank you there. Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
I'll be in touch with you tomorrow, Tasha.
Okay.
Send you some information.
But they know they don't have to stay.
You're free.
Okay.
You can go if you want to.
Okay,
Thank you very much for your time.
All right, thanks for
Appreciate it.
coming. Good luck.
Good luck. Have fun.
And have fun. Sure.
Okay, in regards to consent agenda, be it resolved that item G1 contained in the consent agenda be adopted. Anybody got any concerns, anybody? In regards to 911? Can we move on to seconder? Cheryl and Kevin, all in favor? Carried.
I know.
So it is what it is.
Yeah.
Application, do you in regards to firefighter's application for use of the Sedesky, anybody got any concerns or problems?
Just the bar stuff, where they want us to, I think,
Yeah, they want us to supply
the bar.
bartenders.
I'm sure we could have, I'm sure people would volunteer when it's for the firemen. I mean, if not,
But that's what they're asking for us
Yeah.
to manage that? Is that right?
on-
I wish I had one where to go.
yeah, it's right here.
For our people to run the bar.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not asking for free. Who's there?
They're not asking for
Yeah.
food, they just want us to
Run the bar.
bartenders.
Yeah.
I don't see a problem with that.
I don't see a problem with donating it and allowing them to,
Do any of our employees there have smart?
Yeah, Sean does, yeah. And I'm sure there used to be a whole list of, like in Walford, we have a list of volunteers that we can call them.
There's volunteers in the community who would more than that there.
And I know, yeah, there's some in Massey too, I've asked around, but I know there's volunteers that would do it.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you have to give them an honorarium for doing it,
Yeah,
it's the least you can do for the firemen.
yeah.
I think, that's my personal opinion.
Okay,
yeah. And another concern is this falling under the, you know, with the fire department, where they're trying to organize all 4
The
stations.
association.
Yeah, remember that we,
Yeah,
was a volunteer appreciation dinner, so it should be all.
That's
It-
nothing
it'll
to do
probably
with
be
the
for all of them.
association, so.
so I'm in favor of it, so
Yeah.
it's up, I'm gonna.
it's not, if the hall is available that day.
Okay, be it resolved that a donation be given to the Sables-Spanish River Firefighters Association in the form of rental fees being waived for the use of the Sedesky Room at the Massey District Training Center in Marina on December 3rd, 2022. Move on the second. Tim and Kevin, all in favor? Carried. In regards to Public Works meeting, and be resolved that Public Works meeting report of September 7, 2022 be accepted as presented. Anybody have any concerns there?
I do. I would just like to suggest that when they do the minutes, that they, put down the names of the attendants of that.
Oh, she missed that, yeah, sorry.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
It's
I'll
just a
tell
sec-
Linda, yeah.
okay. Other than that, good to go.
A mover and a seconder. Tim and Kevin, all in favor? Carried. And in regards to Imperial Street, south there, the paving, is that right from the liquor store down, or was it
I believe so, I think it's like right from the intersection.
to River Street?
Yes, I think to government, is it not?
Government roads.
Government Road Street, yeah.
But through the intersection here?
I haven't seen what the distance was. I don't know. That was talked about probably early on in the budget, and I don't know what the actual length was. But I believe it was through the, because we talked about with the bridge being under construction, if it would interfere, but
No,
it's not.
because at one street, the water's laying on it there, and it's gotta be rectified there with this pavement there, hopefully. Gets to the catch basin there. Be resolved that quotation received from Bemis Construction in the amount of $281,900 excluding HST for grinding and paving on Imperial Street South to be accepted here. Kevin there, seconder, Cheryl, all in favor? Carried. And here, they're working on that water line, are we doing maps there, right to the exact foot there for every shut off?
They should be, because I know there was a lot of questioning and sort of things didn't match what was on paper to what was in the ground. They found some surprises, so, I mean, that's part of the contract is to produce as needed drawings, as constructed drawings when they're.
Yeah, because there's an individual trying to find a shut off on his property and can't find it. And we did that street there many years ago. Be resolved that attached progress payment number 2 in favor of JI Enterprise in the amount of $313,541.62, including HST for Algoma Front Street Water Main Replacement Project being approved for payment. Hoover and second, Cheryl, Kevin, all in favor? Carried. Okay, be resolved that attached progress payment number 1 in favor of JI Enterprise in an amount of $296,817.55, including HST for the Bolton Street Bridge repairs, the approved for payment. Anybody got any concerns about that there?
But they did a good job on that.
All in favor? Edie there and Tim there, all in favor? Carried. Yes.
Sigh of relief that that's done now, something.
Well, that part.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Cannot, I think, you know, you don't know what you want to do with this next item, so I can either defer it or talk about it tonight.
In regards to correspondence from Alex Law there, we talked about this a month and a half ago
Yeah.
there, and
I can't find anything that shows there was ever a township road there. There's nothing. We had one of the law offices do title search for us to see if there's anything township, and there's nothing. So I don't know the history of the area. If you want to defer it to Public Works, or I'm not really sure exactly what, it sounds like he's asking for maintenance. I just copied the assessment map, so that little section going in across private property,
Well,
If
it's
that's
got-
what he's looking for, then.
It's gotta be deeded or something there for
Well,
ingress and egress.
It's not, it's not,
No?
it's not, no. It's only whoever owns the property is all it's showing.
It's just a handshake?
Well, I don't know, 100 years ago what people did, or,
I don't know whatever.
so there's nothing, there's no easement or anything registered on title to allow access to that lot. So
Because before you pass this, you wanna make sure you get permission from both
that's right,
landowners.
that's right.
And before we put a culvert in there, because both landowners are gonna have four-wheelers in on their property.
That's right.
So here's my question is, by what he said, it was at one time a township road. And why was it let go and not used? But why would there be a township road in the middle of?
Yeah, that's,
And if there's nothing on the deed to show, or nothing on our deed surveys here, then how can it be that it was a township road if there's no record of it anywhere, or it's not saying that's part of his domain either? So I think all that's gotta be straightened out before we make any decisions. We can't just go gangbusters in there and do what we want.
well, no, it's not ours.
No, so,
So, as far as I'm concerned, we do nothing.
like, where do we even go to find this out?
I mean, we did ask one of the law offices to do a type of search to see if there was anything registered at all
For
on
that
that property,
piece, yeah.
whether it was us or anywhere.
Yeah.
And there was nothing pulled, so there was nothing, no documents registered, there was never been an easement registered, there's no allowance, other than the normal,
Yeah,
5%, 10%
Yeah.
for road purposes, but it doesn't say this and doesn't describe specifically any
Mhm.
spot, it's just, if a road needed to go in, if the township needed to, they have that opportunity, but it
Yeah.
doesn't, it's nothing concrete
right.
for that exact location. Like whether or not historically they've always used that, that's totally different.
But-
I don't know, 'cause
But
I don't
it's
know the
not-
area, I don't know the history.
Technically, it's on paper, it is not a township road.
That's right,
and
it's not in our books
So,
anywhere.
we'll put less on the spot, you have no recollection of that ever being. I mean, you've lived on the River Road forever, so.
Yes, you used to better drive in there, but you used to better drive at my house there to the highway too.
Yeah,
And you used to better drive at Ruby's there out to the,
yeah.
as well, so. Was there any documentation on any of the three
No.
roads? I don't imagine you'll ever find anything.
Yeah.
So,
So I
yeah,
don't know
I
how.
don't know what the legal avenue is we take from here, because it's not our property.
Yeah, I mean, he's
We have no
landlocked.
record of a road.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's a road,
his
it's
best,
a private road.
his best option would be to go through the consent process and have a permanent easement
Yeah,
off of probably the top property, which is, I think, Coles.
yes, I believe so.
If he approached them, like, it's best to be all on one rather than part on one and part on another, right? Like, so if they were, he would have to approach them and see if they were agreeable
Yeah,
to granting an easement
yeah.
across that bottom portion of their property so he could access his.
Yeah, but you gotta have both landowners in favor there,
Yes.
because there's one landowner's
Yeah.
gonna have all the garbage.
That's right.
So both gotta be in favor.
So I mean,
Like, do we
unless,
get involved in that, or
Well,
is that?
that's
up to
that
them?
would be up to him, but the
Yeah.
only other thing I would say that if he's asking on River Road itself at the ditch, if he wants us to clean out and put a culvert in at the ditch line, I mean, if, for like a driveway, like somebody with a driveway,
Yeah. Yeah,
That-
at his
and then,
cost,
then
yeah.
he does what he has to once he gets in there, that would be his.
Because that road was moved there 40 years ago there, and there had to be a culvert off the main road
Okay,
before.
yeah. So I mean, if council's agreeable to replacing a culvert in there,
No,
but,
But he's still, yeah,
but that's,
No.
I mean, it doesn't solve his problem with accessing the property.
no, if he wants a culvert, he can put it in.
Yeah. I mean, he can approach,
No,
he
hold
can,
it.
no,
he can approach the property owner and have,
He's gotta get something from the both landowners, saying, by the way,
That's
I'd like to put a culvert in here, are you in favor? And if they both say
on
no,
paper,
before
but he
he,
has to get their,
yeah,
something on paper. saying, this is what we're gonna do. From all three of them, right? Him and the two other landowners. Right?
Yeah, we shall help you, but first you gotta.
Yeah, you have to do due diligence, right?
Can I add something?
There's nothing on paper, so.
As a taxpayer,
Yes,
I used to work for the Michigan Natural Resources Savory District, and I was in charge of all the roads and water crossings throughout the North Shore Forest. And so what I'm thinking as you're talking is like, if that first culvert's within the road allowance, then it might fall under the township, but anything past that is going to be private.
yeah, but if we can't find any record of it being a road, we all can say there, the brush was cut there, and we don't know who cut the brush there. Or
Yeah,
First, we better, if we got it in writing there, both landers in favor, find them, we'll put a culvert and move
so
forward.
what the Ontario Public Service did, the MNR, if the culvert, like say it needed to be replaced or a bridge, and it was on a forest road, then we would enter in a memorandum of understanding, and then it would be the forest company, like we would remove it, and if they wanted to keep it, they would have to sign a memorandum of understanding, and then they'd be responsible for all the liability and all the installation.
But there's no culvert there.
Because if you touch it, like whoever touches it kind of
Yeah,
just takes up the liability aspect and the maintenance and, making sure all of that legislative requirements are met. That's all I'm thinking.
I'm sure Alex can get a letter there from both landowners there and say, by the way, we're in favor of it, or him getting to his private lot there.
So we'll talk more about it once he gets that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, be it resolved, the Walford Community Center Board meeting report of September 15, 2022 be accepted as presented. Anybody have any concerns there? Hearing none, move on to second, please. Tim and Edie, all in favor?
The next Christmas in Massey, that's just for information that it's going forward this year. And Tammy did reach out to me and I let her know that if she needed anything, any copies, photocopying done, that sort of thing, I have no problem doing that for her.
Yeah.
It's good to see it
That
back.
was always fun time.
Is she letting all the other organizations know? or-
Yeah, she's
we are-
she's spearheading it, so they've reached out to the other businesses and they're
Yeah, because.
organizing the whole
Yeah,
thing.
because all the other ones
Yeah.
were involved last time, it was actually.
Yeah.
There's actually
Yeah.
more this year, more businesses involved.
It's fun.
Okay, be resolved that economic development meeting report of September 2022 be accepted as presenter. Anybody got any concerns there?
The only thing, could you add the historical markers to next year's budget?
Oh, right.
Yeah, there.
That was the only thing I was concerned about. And I don't get to those meetings because it conflicts with them.
I know, a friend of mine just went through that here.
Okay, all in favor? Cheryl and Edie are carried.
The next item is the Massey and Dixon drain. So back earlier this year in May, it came to our attention through another severance, which was a lot addition, that when K-Smart looked at the report that they did for that drain, there was a clerical error and some of the rows were off, so the people weren't showing their proper percentages.
Okay.
So whether it's a clerical error or a brand new report, we still follow the same process to approve it. So this tonight will just be to say that we will consider the report at the next meeting. So what we will do tomorrow is send out notice to all the people on that drain that the report, with a copy of the report, saying that it will be considered and if they have, they have their opportunity. Once that happens, at that meeting, we do the bylaw, first and second reading, so the preliminary bylaw.
Mhm.
And then set the court of revision. So people have the chance to, if they have an appeal or whatever, to voice their concerns with it, because what they originally would have received for percentage is going to be different now. And then once that has happened, and then there's a period to wait, and then we do the third and final reading of that bylaw.
Yeah, so.
To accept that report.
As long as they don't panic and start thinking.
I know, it's,
They're not gonna be doing any work on
No,
the
and there is no
drainage, just
cost.
to fix
That's right.
the diagrams.
that's right, there's no
Right.
cost, there was no cost to the report, because it was their mistake.
Right.
But because it's still, anybody that has a percentage that would result in charges
Mhm.
over $100,
Yeah.
they have to be notified of this
Okay,
change.
so the $21,000
There's-
is being absorbed.
There's no $21,000.
Okay,
Well, I don't know what it cost them to redo this report.
21,000, it's there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
allocated per.
Oh,
But it says the cost.
Per occupant on the train.
Oh, okay.
But it is-
Yeah, there's no dollars being spent right now.
See, I guess he was right. If anybody has young kids, send them to be a drain engineer. Do you remember at that meeting?
Yeah.
And when you look at this, when you look at the drainage map of the Massey and the Dixon drain, does the Dixon drain overlap the Manitou drain? Because if you look in there, Jeanette and Comiskey are involved in
Yeah.
the Manitou drain, so what's going on? Are they built on both there?
I have, well, they shouldn't be. I mean,
Well,
whatever drain affects their property, they would be built on. So their percentage would be reflective of that.
Yeah, but when you look at that map, it doesn't show,
Well-
cut it all off there to.
Yeah, I'm not
No, I realize that,
the
but-
engineer, I won't comment because I have no idea on this, how they come up with their percentages.
And you got Irene Shields on the back line, there's involved in this as well, and she's involved in Manitou drain, so and she's way over.
Yeah, so,
Half a mile.
so those percentages may not have been affected. I mean, they're probably on the report with whatever, however it affects, and as they get further away and less effect, or the watershed, doesn't, so their percentage is gonna be much, much lower. So they're, I mean, it's unfortunate that their property would touch all of those,
Yeah.
but,
Well, it happens.
yeah.
As long as those maps there, that
Yeah.
those watersheds don't
Yeah.
overlap each other.
Yeah, I, that's a question for the engineer then.
Because the map in that, does not indicate,
I don't know the map.
well,
When I guess I sent you more than I get for myself.
Yeah, it was on the final attachment.
yeah, it's in there, but,
36-page report.
yeah, but it
Yeah.
stops and you don't know.
Well, maybe that's a question you have to ask them, I don't know. So that means, yeah. I guess they're in both drains. Or maybe their property touches both drains,
Well,
which happens
it's entirely
to some.
possible.
Yeah.
Okay, whereas K-Smart Associates Limited has submitted a report to vary the assessments of the Massey and Dixon drain under section 76 of the Drainage Act. Be it resolved that October the 12th, 2022, the assessments at that date for the meeting to consider the Massey and Dixon drain report at 6 p.m. Mover and seconder? Cheryl, any of that? All in favor? Carried. Because his first letter there, first two paragraphs, it says varying the original assessments in the Bureau report. And then March 28th there, varying the original assessments in the Bureau report of the Dixon. And that was the $21,000 report.
Yep.
If we had to pay for it, it would be $20,000.
I think that's what it was when we did that one back.
One, yes, that was,
We paid and those people paid for that report.
yeah.
And this one, he fixed it and in charge because it was his
When
mistake.
was that?
2018, I think.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that. That was
Yes.
right after,
Yes. Right after election.
yeah, I think so.
Close to it, yeah.
Yeah, and we fell into that
Yeah.
pit.
What did I just give you?
We have to go into closed session.
What did I just give you?
You need us, except do we have to?
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Anybody got any concern before we go into closed session?
I would like to bring up something. The
Yes.
Lutheran Church, they're having their 120th anniversary celebration. They would like a delegation from council to attend. They need to know by the 9th of October. So I can throw that over to, I can copy that, send it right, and whoever will be.
October 16th.
Yeah, that's the night of the, that's the day. And I guess there'll be dinner and that. And there, or it's in the afternoon, there's a service and then dinner, I believe.
Yeah, want to see that?
Yeah.
What time is that? Kim?
Service at 2, dinner at 4.
Oh, it's a 2-hour service. Ooh. 2, dinner, 4.
Anything else, Sam?
I do.
Yeah, Tim.
Yeah. I was at the Walter Community Center on Sunday, and I went as a community member, and I got called up and asked to present a certificate of gratitude to the Township of the Sables-Spanish River, Mayor and Council. This is our certificate. I'll read it. Presented to Township Sables-Spanish River, Mayor and Council, with sincere appreciation for your contribution to the community of Walford and your ongoing support. Thank you from the Walford Community Center Board. So I'm gonna hand that to the mayor. That you can manage it. So yeah. And Cheryl set me up for that.
No, he just happened to walk in and I go, oh, why not call Tim up too? I couldn't present it to myself. That's awkward, so.
Anything else?
I have something. Gerald Ferguson, I was approached. Gerald Ferguson, his funeral is on Saturday.
2 o'clock.
No, 11 o'clock at the Lee Valley Cemetery was what I was.
Yeah, is it, and then the lunch is after or something? isn't
Yeah.
it?
So, I mean, I can't attend, but I would hope that someone from council could attend. Gerald was a long-time volunteer.
One,
president.
the emails you sent to all Legion members is 2 o'clock.
Okay.
And his
This
wife
was-
passed away yesterday,
Oh,
so.
no, she did, eh?
so-
Oh, is that what the
Oh,
election?
Doreen.
Yeah, well,
Oh, God.
So they didn't know if there was gonna be a funeral or not, and,
Oh, they're gonna go ahead and
well, I mean,
take
the
that?
They said-
information you have from the Legion is
Yeah.
probably more current than what I have. This was like 2 or 3 weeks ago and
no, this is just happened there. We got the email this morning there.
okay.
I can't go, I already have a few.
And then this afternoon, we got the email that both are gonna happen the same day.
Well,
Oh, okay.
that's good. Another thing, we had a radon information session,
Monday.
Monday night. It was well attended. I thought it was well attended, 20 to 30 people.
Good.
And a really good presentation. And I can't thank Linda enough.
Yeah,
She did a really
she
good
took that
job.
and she
She
organized
ran
the
it,
whole thing.
yeah.
She did a really good job.
Yeah, and from what I got from the crowd afterwards, that a lot of people felt good about the information and they're moving forward to take steps to eradicate the radon out of their homes. But we need to do more stuff like that.
Well, it's nice to be proactive there, because we don't know how many houses are involved. or-
No, we don't. And I mean, according to Algoma radon testing's numbers, like, there's probably hundreds of them. So, but you don't know till you test, One house can be high, the next one is fine, you don't know. So,
That was the answer to a lot of the question. You don't know until you test.
well,
That's
no,
right.
Yes, you gotta
can't see
test
it,
it, yeah.
and, and I mean, it's up past the park. There's people that live past the park that have
Oh,
very high reading. So, Anyway, it was good. I was very happy with how it went down.
Do we get people coming to book
We had
the?
one today that, or yesterday maybe it was, that came in to, today coming in to sign it out, but there's a list. I mean, there's
A waiting
6
list.
other people ahead, yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
good though, it's getting
Yeah.
used,
Yeah.
so
Awesome.
that's all
But it
I
only takes a couple of days, eh?
I think so.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, set it up. It'll give you an indication where you stand or something.
yeah.
Any other questions, anybody? Okay, be resolved that we move into closed session at 6:45 PM pursuant to section 239-2-B of the Municipal Act to consider personal matters about identical individuals including municipal, local board employees respecting employees. Move on second. Kevin, you're, and Cheryl, all in favor? Carried.
Oh, that's different.
He's an EPD.
I lost that one.
You want to open here?
Yeah.
Okay, anybody got any other concern for tonight?
No. That's
I'd
it.
like your answer.
Yeah.
Moment?
Tim, are you gonna have that all down there, all finished there by Christmas there?
No.
Closed in there the way you want it?
Closed in, well, here's what they're thinking of doing is, that big crane, they're
Yeah.
gonna hold up a big tent
Yeah,
and cover it over like one section
Yeah.
and,
Pour cement.
yeah, do the cement work with big
It
heaters
works,
and,
it works.
yeah.
But how they gonna?
Is it gonna be finished Christmas? No,
no,
no, it's gonna be next year as well.
yeah, but there's gonna be no damage to anybody's property there, but,
Well, there's only one person that they're gonna be hurting is me and. I've been
yeah, as
putting-
long as there, everything works out there,
Yeah.
the way they're building it there.
Yeah, I think it's going, yeah, I think there's some issues with Waterfalls Lodge and the other landowner right on the west side of the, southwest side
Yeah.
of it. They need some more land from both of those.
Yeah,
More than what they thought of initially, so they gotta go back and,
well, the municipality's gotta be on top of it there if there's a problem there, because December comes there and we still, server there, so.
yeah. So as of right now, so are there any concerns? I think there's those two, the pieces of land that they needed
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
And the landowners are saying, no, wait a minute here.
Well, your old camp, like, there's not much more they can take there.
Well,
Not
then-
your house,
yeah.
but you know
Yeah.
where you grew up, like, at the camp.
Yeah.
Like, they'll have nothing
Yeah.
left if
So-
they
so-
did, they
so-
just buy a little camp.
Well, what you're looking at, my property, Coffer Dam is up, you see in that picture? Coffer Dam is up to my property.
Yeah,
They're on my property, but I'm saying, yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead,
yeah.
you know, they're working.
Yeah.
But they built up to there, the Coffer Dam, and they're gonna put a divider down the center, and that's gonna be the next step. They're digging down, it's rather amazing, because the bottom of the water flow going underneath the bridge was, say, this level, and they've dug down, and it's almost like 8 feet further down to bedrock, so they're down to bedrock. And the next step they're doing now is, once they get all down to bedrock, they're going to do a little surveying of that bedrock. They're gonna go back to the engineers and say, do we need to remove some of that bedrock for our cement to adhere to it, or can we attach it to that bedrock? So I think that's the next step.
Yeah, well, they're gonna have to drill into it there.
Yeah, so are there any issues? I would say the two landowners on the south side of the bridge, east and west, they need a piece for the abutments of the dam.
right.
So I think they miscalculated, the
Yeah, so
engineer.
Andy, you wanna keep,
I have a meeting next week with M&R.
okay, perfect, there.
Can I
Yeah.
just ask about the firewall in Walford? Nothing's been done there.
Nothing.
No.
What are we waiting?
Have you heard anything, no? About Public Works investigating? No?
There's
Yeah,
a
okay.
talk,
We've
but
been
that was,
talking about that for a month.
Yeah.
What's,
I'll ask again.
Not one grain of sand has been moved except by the rain that poured out. I just wondered if you had heard something, because I haven't seen any action there.
It's gonna rain and we're gonna be in trouble there.
yeah. Well, and then it'll be winter.
Yeah, you're in the building
Yeah.
and then you got, more damage.
It was brought up at Public Works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in there.
And,
He was gonna get that right on it, right?
yeah.
And it has not been touched. There's been nothing out of
It wasn't
there.
in September, we didn't have one in August.
Yeah, we didn't have any for 3 months.
Yeah.
Any anything else, Ann? Okay, be resolved at time 7:25 PM and this meeting be adjourned. I'll next look at the meeting and I'll call the mover and the seconder. Kevin there and Tim there, all in favor? Carried.